Okay, this is being recorded, everybody, just for info. Good evening. Yeah, can I just introduce you?
Yeah, cool.
Good evening, and welcome to this extraordinary meeting of Wedmore Parish Council on the 1st of December 2021. On the agenda, have we got any apologies?
Yeah, we have, Chair, from Judy Candy, Andy Reason, Landon Landers, Alistair Smith.
Okay, lovely. We're here tonight to consider purchasing the Christmas street lights at a nominal cost and insuring them for public liability cover for 1 year only. I shall open up the floor. Well, we had a meeting in our last parish council meeting. It was voted through that we would insure them for 1 year only. Now, it's come to our attention that if we have to insure them, we have to own them. I think there's a nominal fee involved. We originally, when this issue, or when the lights, it was proposed that they were going to be bought, we were asked for a donation. We donated £500 towards it, and at that meeting it was minuted and agreed on that we would not have ownership of them, we just would donate towards them.
Yeah. Also, didn't we say that we wouldn't be liable to put them up every year for it?
Yes, well, we just weren't having anything to do with them generally because we were going to, we've made our £500 contribution. I know that there's quite a lot of rumours going around the village that the parish council are not supporting the lights and they weren't going to go up because the parish council doesn't want them to go up, and all sorts of rumours going around, and that's not the case. Who wants to take this on first?
Yeah, I'm happy to.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's right, Polly, for sure. You know, when we took our vote last week. Last week?
Yeah,
it was week before last that we would pay the insurance. You know, I think from our side it was clear that we supported the lights going up this year, and that if that was the way to make it happen, we all agreed that we would do that, and then we would get into next year and see where it goes, see where it takes us. You know, get together with other groups, the Lamplight group, for example, and see what we can do between us and them, or them, to make sure that the lights go up every year. So, you know, the situation has moved on a bit, for sure. And if the only way that we can make this happen in a proper manner is to buy them for a nominal fee, then, you know, I think that's where we are. Right? We've already agreed in principle that we would support the community to get the lights up this year, because the previous people didn't want to put them up this year, for sure. People have been dealing with it in the past.
Okay.
Now, the fact that they've gone up, right, which has been arranged by a group of volunteers, and it is fine. Mm-hmm. So I think I think we should just go ahead and say, okay, we'll buy them for a nominal fee. They're up. The insurance will sort that out with the people that have done it now.
Yeah.
We'll sort that out between us, because there was funds in the account anyway, and that's, you know, the insurance payments covered, so it's covered. There's no cost to the parish council. There was no cost to the parish council putting them up. Then they come into our ownership, and then next year we take a position at it, talk to the shop holders, you know, the businesses in the village, and see how the best way of taking this forward. This is forward. Forward is. Something like that, anyway.
Is there any reason why the group didn't want to put them up this year?
Yeah, I'll cover that. Essentially, I think it's given the position certain people are in life now, and health-wise, etc., versus where they probably were a few years ago when they were originally bought. I think they were always supposed to be essentially a community asset that was obviously organised by the previous, I forgot what it was, Wedmore Sparkles, or whatever it was. So I think now we're in a different position, and I think that essentially the view is, what can we do, where can they go next, essentially, and I think the thought was, and that was brought to council, whether we could be part of that with helping with the insurance this year, obviously Andy in the group, Essentially, the world of insurance has moved on a lot, and you need to either take a personal liability or a corporate liability. So when individuals organise it, they can't then have to take a personal liability. We're lucky that we've got individuals that are willing to put stuff up for free for us. So the lights have actually gone up at zero cost this year. They've been fully insured when they've been doing so. It's all people who are approved and have the right licences, etc. So that shouldn't necessarily change going forward. And then obviously, we can talk about insurances and how that's been fundraised. But I think they fundraised nearly £700 this year as an example. And that's just an example of.
Well, they did quote that the cost of putting them up originally was going to be £1,000 a year.
Yeah, which is also
that taken down.
Yeah, so it wasn't at all. I think the first year they put them up, it was much less than that to put them up and take down. This year it was completely free with volunteers in the village. And again, so I think the cost is zero to minimal for the parish council this year, and I think I totally agree with what David said. We do need to then reassess that, what it looks like. I think the budget that they've got, so this £700, I think they spent 182 of it on insurance this year, which is what we discussed at the last meeting, with a view that the rest of that, we need to go through insurance certification, so there's plenty of money in the budget to go through that, because it has to happen every 3 years. So again, the money that's in the budget puts us in that position of testing the anchor points, testing the wires, testing the lights, all the rest of it.
Yeah, they're due next year.
Yeah, but we've got the money in the budget to do that from what they've got. They've fundraised from this year. So essentially, then it would just be, organising the putting up. But I think that that part is still.
And the storage of them, is that going to remain the same?
Well, yeah, so that needs to be sorted out, and Andy's looking into that.
Yeah, I spoke to Andy this morning, and he's looking at a couple of options for storage.
I mean, I've got a place it can store, but it's up to them.
I don't think that would be too onerous. No.
I don't know why they stored them in the
No, I've got no idea.
I mean, the thing is, what we really need to be clear about is what the potential cost is going to be in the future, because we have to budget for it, and of course there are lots of other things we can spend money on in the village. I don't think we're being bar humbug and not wanting the Christmas lights, because I've just looked down the borough and they look great. It's nice to have them at this time of year. We really have people in the community who want to turn the lights off at night in the village. We've got a climate emergency going on, so there's kind of all those issues to think about. But this is very much not about the parish council being the baddies and saying we're not going to help and put the lights up. We need to know what the cost is going to be in the future, and if people are going to volunteer to put them up on a yearly basis, then that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It makes it.
I think that's the right way of looking at it, is what is the liability we would be taking on.
Yeah.
So I think we can insure away kind of them falling onto the street type liability, but actually the financial liability is quite right. If it's a 10 grand a year liability, by paying £1, it's ridiculous kind of thing. It's not. Yeah. That's the point. It's currently free to put them up and take them down, but if we have to fundraise to make, because it becomes £1,000, and that's probably what we need to be very clear on, that we're not. Yeah. We're not a bank of endless resource.
No.
But we don't know what the actual maintenance will be next year. Checking the anchor points and that. We don't know what that cost is going to be.
No, but I think we could get a budget cost. Andy Landers has got the details of the company that did it, and he spoke to them to get,
Is there a,
so we would
ballpark?
be able to get a ballpark figure for that. I think what I was going to say was, this year's been quite not challenging, but we've moved out of lockdown, and there's been a lot of things that have gone around. I mean, lamplight is another example. Lamplight the same as the lights, right? When we first heard back in August that rightly or wrongly that there was a possibility that lamplight wouldn't happen this year, because some people didn't want to do that. And we've got involved with that. We've helped to underwrite that this year, and made that happen. And now the lights.
Well,
and so we've been able to help to make that happen.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, whether it's the parish council or another organisation, it would be good to have the lights and lamplight and everything in one wrapper.
correct.
So that you don't have people fundraising a bit for this, appealing for money for that.
Yeah.
That it is, you know, Wedmore Xmas
Yeah.
or
And we
whatever.
can support
And that's
that.
something that we can look at
Yeah.
next year. We can get the costs together.
Yeah.
We'll have a really good idea
Yeah.
about the cost of lamplight. We'll have a better idea then about the costs for the lights. And then we can talk to the shop owners, the shopkeepers, and the other people in the village, and businesses, and so on. And, you know, whether it sits inside the council or outside the council, probably outside would be better to enable good fundraising,
Yep.
yeah? But with our support.
So the group's integrity to the lights is essentially the living advent calendar. That's again, people that
Yeah.
have organised with that are involved with the living advent.
So, you know, I'm very much okay in us going ahead with
I assume
the
the
purchase
people that
and
are
then
putting
moving
them
on
on will take
next
them
year,
down.
not at the last minute,
Yeah.
Yeah.
as we've had to do this year.
Yeah.
Well, it's
You know,
towards
to be boxed into a corner a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
That was the sort of, I mean, the principle was that we would donate the lights, but we wouldn't own the lights, and now we own the lights. Or we are going to own the lights. So there's a principle there that we have been sort of
Well,
boxed
we're
into a corner.
damned if we do, we're damned if we don't. If we don't do
Yeah.
this, then we're the
Absolutely.
Wedmore Parish Council who are not supporting the community, and so,
You know.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, the lights look lovely.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's
We
much.
want-
There you go.
Oh yeah.
They're Christmas lights.
Yeah.
They look a bit pants, but they're lights.
Several plans.
True.
But they are integral to do with Wedmore by lamplight.
Yeah.
So the lights, it makes you feel Christmas.
Yeah.
It's integral to for it to go successfully. So,
Yeah.
you know, I think that we as a parish council should take on the responsibility this year of the lights.
Yep.
But I think it needs to be looked at in January, when they come down,
Yeah.
what we are doing for next year. So we are not left at the 11th hour, like we are
Well,
today,
it's fresh from
having an
it.
extraordinary meeting to discuss
Yeah.
Christmas lights.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which are already up and on.
So,
Yes, I agree.
Great.
Okay,
And we
so
strike while the iron's hot in
Yes.
January.
Okay,
whenever
so-
the cost
so have I got a proposal?
Is that your
Was
proposal?
anything?
Yeah, so I propose that we buy them and then review in January how we would look at the financial
Lovely,
side
have I
of
got a
it.
seconder? Or I'll go for Babs, lovely. All those in favour? Super, that's unanimous.
Can I ask one question, please?
Yes.
If it's going to be £1, I've got to pay somebody. I need
Yeah.
to know who.
Okay, that's something that we're going to need to make sure that we get drawn up properly.
I need an invoice, right?
Yeah.
So we'll need an invoice, we'll need to pay, and we'll also need to make it clear that we're taking on the lights
Yeah.
Yeah, there has to be a deed
and not any previous
ownership.
liabilities.
No.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, so that type of thing, I don't know if you can get a solicitor to do a contract or just something fairly bog standard, transfer of ownership, that we own, you know, the lights. I think Andy's already said that any balance of funds, you know, could be transferred in. We can easily ring fence that, right? And then if it's decided that it's going to be taken to another group, then we can transfer that back into that group, as long as it stays ring fenced within our account.
I've got an idea,
Is
that
that
they
right?
come forward with the plan, with the contract that needs to be signed, and then we can just sign it, so it's there.
Yeah. Okay. All right, bro.
Once it's purchased, I will then put it on the asset register.
Yeah.
Not until then. so.
Yeah.
Okay. Great, okay, well I'll close this meeting at 14 minutes past 7. Thanks all for attending.